Okay guys, welcome back. So we're going to just fill in a little bit from some of the comments that we've been getting from you guys. We're going to just add in some content towards what you're asking for. And a lot of you have been asking for us to do some videos on distance versus accuracy.
Exactly.
Right. So when are we looking for more distance and how do we achieve it? When we're looking for more accuracy, how do we achieve it? Do those numbers differ? And they do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. Our motivation changes for the customer in terms of the launch and spin numbers when someone's looking to just hit it as straight as possible, and they also change when they're looking to hit it as far as possible.
Yeah. And from what I've read and what I noticed just in chatting with people is that the questions that I see just from the comments are, you know, I launch at 14 and I spin at 1700.
Yeah.
Is that a good fit? And if the question is to hit it as far as possible, then maybe. But that's not really a good fit because there's no way you're going to go and shoot a better score with that kind of launch condition.
Well, and you know, the whole kind of bomb and gouge theory from a few years back was based on the fact that, you know, Mark Brody in his book Every Shot Counts sort of, you know, made the claim that it was actually more important that the guys hit it further and slightly less accurate than being, you know, 10 or more, maybe more like 20, 30 yards back and in the fairway every time because, you know, the shorter your club you have in your hand, the more likely you are to score better, regardless of the lie, whether it's in the rough or the fairway. Now that's dealing with tour players in the assumption that they're kind of always hitting 50, 60+% of the fairways anyway.
And I think it's also assuming that they're putting it in play. I mean, when you go down up in handicap, I think the difference becomes how many did you put in play and how many are out of bounds or in a hazard. Then
penalty
the score,
shots.
Your
Eliminate
score
that
will
penalty
just be
shots.
a nightmare from there.
Without a doubt, you know, that kind of the elimination of penalty shots and 3 putts in the game for the average golfer is massive.
Oh, it's everything.
Massive. So we're going to fit Matt today to two drivers. We're going to fit him to a driver that is as long as we can make it, and we're going to fit him to a driver that is about as accurate as we can make it.
Without being too short, but a good balance.
Still functional, without a doubt, and you know, show you guys what those numbers look like and see where the sacrifices may be. You know, because everyone who comes in to see us at TXG is motivated by something slightly different from anyone else. Guys hit it longer and go, I just need to put more balls in play. Other guys go, I hit every fairway, but it's just not very long, and you know, it tires me out hitting 3-wood, 5-wood into every single green. Okay, so let's maybe see if we can get you a few extra yards. So let's look at that, and then we can explain a little bit about the numbers involved, Matt.
And whose driver are we starting with here?
We're going to start with Phil's driver. I mean, as a fellow lefty swinging actually about the same speed as Phil, not far away. We're going to build up, or we have built up the Rogue Sub-Zero 9 degree. We've got it open slightly, so it's actually down at 8. Okay. Really going for that low spin scenario.
Hazardous T1100, same as Phil?
That's exactly it. So we're using the 70 gram 6.5, the X-Flex, built at 45 inches.
So we're hoping to hit some nice knuckleballs that go a long way.
We should see that spin certainly, you know, south of 2,000 RPMs. You know, we probably will see with Matt the launch angle between 10 and 12. It should be around about there. And I'm expecting Matt's driver, when it's fully kind of customized and really dialed in, to be upwards of 320, probably see some over 330 if you really catch some.
Depending on conditions, I guess, right?
Yeah. Okay,
let's hit a few. And we're hitting Strixon Z-Stars.
Yep.
How are those in terms of driver spin? Do you find a fairly medium spin ball off the tee?
They have both. They have the XV and the X. Okay. So, sorry, the XV and the V. Yep. So the one you're using today, the red number always gives away that it's the lower spinning ball.
Red is lower spin. Okay. Yes. So this is not the red. So this.
So this is the higher one, right? Swap that out for one of the reds. Red? If we're going max distance, we're going to try and get that spin down. Okay.
So this is the XV here.
And that's something we offer here at TXG, the ability to basically you know, customize your ball during the fit as well. So if there's a specific ball you want to play, you know, we can use your ball in the fit. We have a supply of basically everyone's golf balls in here. But the Strixon we found is a really all-round, well-balanced golf ball.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, turned that over a little bit, but it was
Yep.
Certainly well hit, Matt.
So it's probably a little bit on the toe.
Good.
But it felt pretty decent.
Okay. Okay, good numbers. 173 ball speed, 306, 330. You called it. You're just a hair out on the toe.
Yep.
We thought you'd be between 10 and 12 launch, and you're at 11 with 2,000 backspin.
Gotcha.
Really good. That sounded a fraction low in the head.
Yes. Definitely
Stayed really nice and straight for you, though.
Yep. So I hit that one probably low in the heel.
Okay.
Still very low spin for that kind of a strike.
It really is, yeah. We would expect the gear effect to kick in a little more there and kick that up in the spin rate. I mean, that's one thing jailbreak technology does, Matt, that is unbelievable. When you miss it low in the face, jailbreak deals with that so well. Yeah. It really retains the ball speed. The launch conditions really aren't as bad. So, I mean, that's a great miss. Hit that 311.
So that, and it's a good one to look at, because if, like, the club face was nice and square to the path.
Yes.
If I had left that open and we had that little spin, I'm looking at a shot that could really have bent left. Because there's not much stabilizing spin on that ball.
We always talk about the backspin as the stabilizer that kind of make or break. You know, if you have that face angle open or closed, you know, less backspin will always make it more of a premium on the face angle. Right. So we're creating a low spin environment here, so we need that face to be square.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's hit a few more. Now, you've hit a little fade there, but I tell you what, that's a good flight.
Yeah, I think I hit it pretty square.
Yeah, that's carried a long way, that one, Matt.
That's amazing to see spin that low on a fade.
Yeah,
really is.
I mean, and that's what we're seeing, isn't it? Guys like DJ and you know, the guys out there hitting, you know, bullet fades.
Yeah.
12-degree launch. You know, by fading it, you can get the launch angle up a little bit by keeping a little bit more dynamic loft on the club. Spinning it low, you know, just as a virtue of you hit up on it a bunch, so your spin loft is relatively low. Really, really good stuff.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say we went a different direction and we were getting more spin out of a different setup.
Yeah.
That same shot, would it curve less to the left with more backspin? I know the spin axis I know is the real story, but let's say there's more backspin on the ball. Are we looking at a shot that doesn't go as far left?
Always. Okay. Always, yeah. If you've got more backspin, you're going to have a less violent curvature.
Because I hit that 40 yards left. Like, that's not a usable shot on the golf course.
It's not nothing. Yeah, it's definitely.
And honestly, from a contact perspective and a swing, I felt like I hit a pretty good shot.
Solid. Well, you definitely did. I mean, 173 ball speed is really quick.
But that's not a fairway finder.
No, you'd have to. I mean, looking at the curvature, Matt, it wasn't so much the curvature that was bad. It was the start line that was left.
Slightly left.
So we would have to just shift that one to the start line being to the right-hand side of the fairway, and then it would be useful.
Yeah, I had to start that shot right. Exactly. Yeah. That's a better hit.
Yeah. Really
now we should mention that this club is a little open, so I'm gonna be hugging the left side a little bit, but.
Guys, my only fear of doing this with Matt is that he starts hitting all these 340-yard drives, realizes he shouldn't be doing this channel with us, and he should be going to playing golf.
Get out of here. Yeah, but guess what? The golf course involves inside of 100 yards, and I don't do that very well.
There's not many people who can hit their driver as far as this, that's for sure. Okay, let's hit one more. That'd be a nice little sample size.
But we're achieving, like, those are low peak heights, really low spin. Launch angles are fairly consistent with one exception, but we're looking at hitting some knuckleballs right now.
I mean, you're flying this through a 90, average around a 90-foot window. We've got that one that was low in the head that went a little bit lower, but other than that, you're around 90 feet, 95.
Yeah.
Carrying it over 300 yards. Spin rates hovering around 2,000. Average around 11 degrees of launch. We've got the angle of descent nice and flat, so when it's hitting the fairway, it's still got plenty of energy flat, as it's going to take off again and gives a few more yards off the fairway. So.
And on that subject, because if you're trying to hit fairways, you're going to have a lot easier time hitting a fairway if you know that your ball's going to land and stop within 10, 15 yards versus my ball might go 50 yards, 40 yards.
The average angle of descent right now in the PGA Tour is 38 degrees. 38. So you're 5 degrees flatter into the fairway. So exactly like you said there, if that fairway is somewhat, contoured, if they're running quite quick, you go to play the British Open and you're coming into the fairway that flat, like you don't hold fairways. Because those fairways are like runways.
And that has then if it's a dog leg, unless you perfectly shaped your shot to be the precise, you're going to go through fairways all day
without a shadow of a doubt.
So that's another story in terms of controlling.
Control.
Less spin is just more control in so many different. Less control in so many different ways.
Yeah, not just curvature, but on the ground, the movement when it hits the ground.
One more.
Okay, one more. Let's get 5. Nice, really nice.
It's probably the best hit I put up of those.
Yeah, that one felt good. Sounded still a fraction toy. No, it was good. It was good.
Yeah. It actually did feel a little toy, but yeah, I guess.
No,
right in the middle.
We're certainly measuring it fractionally here. So, yeah. Your max out drive, Matt, is going to fly, pretty much around that 310. Occasionally a little bit more if we lower the spin and keep the launch angle up. But I thought that was a great example of what your max distance.
Like we're not hitting it any further than this without doing something just stupid.
No chance, unless you start swinging quicker. Yeah. You're not. I mean, launch angle up a little bit. Maybe if we flew at 110, 115 feet. Yep. Yeah. We could possibly hit it another.
So let's say
5-6
somehow
yards.
we added a bit of loft, but could potentially keep that spin as low. Maybe you could hit it a bit further.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, those numbers right there, 11 launch, 12 launch, that's what a PGA Tour player is trying to achieve in their launch conditions.
Right. Now, but they want a little more spin.
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
But remember, like when we always say low spin puts the premium on the club face, there's no better at controlling that club face than these guys.
So that's the perfect example. It's like, unless you are hitting it so consistently, and I'm certainly not, like we could see my strike point varied, my club face varied. Unless you're so consistent, these numbers, you're going to shoot some pretty rough scores. I mean, you'll hit some great drives, and you'll impress your buddies a few times. But you're going to spend some time in the trees. You're going to take a few penalty strokes.
Without a shadow of a doubt. If we look at the flight, I mean, the 35 yards offline. So if we look at the worst drive from a numbers standpoint, because we're trying to hit it long, was your best drive.
Yes.
3.8 yards offline. The other ones, this is in the rough, this is in the rough, this is in the rough, and this is the fairway. So
the worst launch condition was worse for distance, but it was better for control.
The best for control.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we've got 40%. Fairway hit ratio on that there.
Yeah, not good.
Cool. Right, let's get you into something that we feel like might go a bit straighter then.
Gotcha.
Okay, Matt. So we saw how far you can hit it. Pretty damn far.
We hit some far ones.
Okay, 340 with that epic Rogue. Sorry, the Callaway Rogue with the T1100 shaft. Now we're going to go for a really stable option for you. So Ping have always had a reputation for maybe not going full, putting all their chips in on distance.
Yes.
More along the lines of trying to make a driver really stable, really playable, something that the average golfer needs, as well as the guys on tour. I mean, Tony Finau uses this exact
He's using
head.
this exact club,
That's it, G400 Max. So G400 was the most stable driver they had ever made from an MOI perspective, and G400 Max is even more stable than that. So they're really going after the straight flights with this one.
So do you see that as kind of, I mean, it obviously is currently what's happening, but that's the trend right now. More forgiveness, but keep good launch conditions with a little more ability to keep it in the fairway.
Yeah, and it's all about weight placement on the head, making that head as stable as you can get it, trying to get that weight back in the head to really stabilize the face, increase the MOI. The more that CG moves forward, the more deviation we see on face angle via the MOI, MOI and on the strike point.
Gotcha.
So on that strike point, anything off center, when your MOI is down, you start getting twisting of the head and.
So when we started with the Sub-Zero, we should mention, I mean, that's probably a bit more forgiving than the Epic Sub-Zero. But that's still not a very forgiving driver.
No, it's their least forgiving driver on the range.
Exactly.
You know, so it has the smallest profile. The reason it has the smallest, most kind of compact head, still 460, but it's the way the 460 is kind of distributed. It is a little bit shorter front to back. It's a little bit taller. That's going to really play into the hands of low spin and fast ball speeds. But the standard Rogue is more compressed, stretched back, so they can get that MOI up by moving the weight away from the face.
Gotcha.
Okay, right, let's hit a couple. Nice drive there, Matt. Nice draw. A little bit higher.
So it's slightly low on the face, but felt pretty good.
I could see it just spike a little bit and spin. Yep, 2900 backspin, low in the face. The low strike in the face kept the launch angle down, so we did get some downward deflection on the head.
Yep.
We lost a little ball speed as a consequence, but we hit a fairway.
I would be so happy with that, honestly. I'd be so happy with that drive.
Okay. Really interesting that one, Matt.
Yeah.
You know, just not really deviate too far offline.
No, so that honestly didn't feel like a great swing. I know I left it open.
It was a long way, it was a way down on the head. I mean, look how low, 20 millimeters low in the strike. So,
but that's a manageable shot. Like, I'm keeping that in play. So maybe that's the difference. So obviously the low on the face is a factor, but that extra spin really kept it from going way left.
You could see it just didn't really want to curve an awful lot.
That was a good hit.
Yeah, lovely.
So maybe been a bit on the toe, but nice strike.
So definitely not as long as we saw with the Callaway.
No.
So, you know, decent strike, you know, not perfect, but decent. Spin rate's a little bit higher, 3100. 171 ball speed's quick.
Yeah.
But we're a good 30 yards down on what the Callaway was doing.
So on those off-center strikes, I mean, I didn't strike the ping the best. Even the last one was a bit toey. But for that to end up basically middle of the fairway, and I didn't even really feel the head twist very much.
Middle of the fairway for sure, really, yeah, the feedback was good.
I knew it was in the toe, but I didn't feel that twisting motion. So that's, as you say, that MOI number is it's a big factor.
That one sounded really good, Matt.
That's probably the best one I hit so far. That is, quite honestly, exactly what, like, I would take this driver home. That's the kind of shot I'd love to hit.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more, and that will give us 5 with each.
So we're sneaking a little on the high side in the spin.
We are.
So we could obviously, you know, do a slightly better job of dropping that a few hundred RPMs, you'd say. But we're definitely illustrating the straightness factor is just, it's a different world with a little more backspin.
And we're seeing that, honestly, Matt, in our fits.
Yeah.
We're seeing how straight G400 Max is.
Gotcha.
Like, it is really, really forgiving. Bunch of different strikes. Sure, there's distance loss with it, but there's very few kind of stray golf balls. You know, most of them are finishing in the fairway.
Well, that's the good news about manufacturers kind of making different club heads.
Yeah.
Because then you come in and you say, I'm the guy that hits every fairway, but I want 20 more.
Yeah.
Give me the sub-zero, drop my spin, and let me hit that shot.
Yeah,
or, you know, you're the opposite. Give me this and let me hit more fairways.
And the thing with this is, you know, we are making it as forgiving as we can. You probably have too much loft in your hands right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather see you play that combo in a 9, and we could probably get a blend of the two. That's probably the blended long and forgiving.
Yep.
Because those last two you hit were nice, but they peaked a little too high. About 150 feet in height, which is, you know, not as ideal as we would like.
Into the wind, I'll lose.
Yeah, crosswinds and stuff might be a little exposed.
But it's definitely amazing to see how much. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm swinging basically the same with both, and it's just way easier to hit straight. It's a bit of a push, but
it's okay. Look at it; it's just straight, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like
it's not curving off line.
I felt like I left the club face way open, but it just isn't. So just not a bad shot at all.
Okay, so let's have a little look at the comparison. So yeah, the orange circle is without a shadow of a doubt, smaller.
Yeah.
So dispersion's better. Massive difference in height.
Yeah.
Massive difference. 1200 difference in spin. 3 and a bit difference, or sorry, 2 and a bit difference in launch. And you lost about 20 yards, 22 yards in distance.
Do we want to try shaving a little bit of loft off?
Let's do that. Why don't we? Yeah, we were talking about maybe going towards the 9 of the G400 Max.
So are we able to go, how do the increments of adjustability work?
You can move it in terms of loft.
Yeah.
You can move it 0.6 or 1.
0.6 or 1.
Yeah.
So would you say that if we moved it 0.6 down?
I always just say we just go straight to the 9-degree head.
Go to the 9?
Yeah, just play 9 square because your miss has been a little bit of a push to the left.
Gotcha.
So let's do that. Good though. And you said something really interesting there, that when you put the G400 Max down, it feels like a fairway wood. It feels like you're going to hit the fairway with it.
Yeah, so the confidence factor for me with the face height being, I'm sure you could tell me in millimeters the difference, but it looks way shallower than the deep face Sub-Zero. And so I don't know, just something about it from a confidence standpoint, you just kind of feel more like you're hitting a fairway wood, because it's not the loft, I guess, but it's that face height.
Sure, and also when you know the footprint of the two drivers is very different. So when you look down on the G400 Max and it has the large compressed footprint, you go, geez, look how much real estate I've got down there to work with. Whereas the Sub-Zero, you do feel under pressure to make the strike on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you say, it is psychological, but at the same time, the results are there to back it up. I mean, there's no question that the slight miss hits, I did not feel this club twisting hardly at all. Like it's felt completely different.
Okay, Matt. So this is what we're saying is probably going to be a nice blend between the most forgiving and the longest into being, the nice kind of blend of the two.
But the way we've illustrated already, we've given both extremes to start with.
Sure.
I mean, that driver is super, super accurate. That
Very
we just hit,
forgiving, yeah.
And the other one is as long as we're going to hit it.
Yeah.
And so now we'll see if we can get kind of a little bit of best of both.
Okay, good hit.
It's a little
definitely longer.
Yeah, a little toey, but
curved, but not bad.
No, like that's right edge of the fairway, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you're playing a draw, aren't you? I mean, most of the time you're playing a draw.
I'd like to off the tee.
So you're playing that down the left-hand side, curving it back into the fairway. So that's a fairway ball for me. For somebody who's playing a draw, you'd be aiming 10 yards inside the left and working into the 30 yards of fairway. So.
And if we hit a bit of a fade, we'd probably see that backspin go up a little bit.
There you go. And if we look at that, no, we don't want to use a sample size of 1, but look at what just happened. So that red's sitting right between the blue and the orange. The launch is the same as the 10.5, but the spin is closer to the 9.
Yes.
With the ball speed being a bit higher. So, it's much more like the carry distance of the 9.
Yeah.
So it's a better flight already.
So a little bit, and that being even a little bit of a toe strike, it managed that and didn't give me the 1600 that the Sub-Zero was giving me.
Yep. Oh, that sounded good.
Yeah, I hit that one really good.
That sounded really nice.
If I had my choice, we may end on that one.
Wow. Okay.
So what do we do there?
You done that. You hit it absolutely bang in the middle of the head. So again, this driver's keeping the launch up, Matt, but the spin rate is nice and low. So you're.
So we're not hitting those 1800 spins with this.
No,
it's giving a few hundred extra.
You're somewhere between probably, 21 and 2500. Over the course, the ball speed is good, a little bit higher than the 10.5. We know that that's a loft thing, so the more square the dynamic loft is applied, the more energy you're going to produce.
Yeah, that's a good example of getting a nice fit. We could pretty much hit it about as far with a way less curvature, way less curvature.
And that's how we try and apply that to every fit in here. So we were doing the longest versus the straightest, but ultimately you want a bit of both, don't you?
Yeah.
That's without a doubt. Good stuff. How did that feel?
This one felt really, really good.
Yeah.
So as I said, I think, you know, the Sub-Zero, when you hammer it in the center,
sure,
felt great. I mean, there's no question.
Super long.
Really nice driver. And you felt like those are the ones on the course where you go, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how far that goes.
Right.
But from a confidence standpoint and, you know, setting up on the tee thinking I need to hit the fairway, slight mishits, they still felt really good with this one.
Yeah.
And I think I just had the confidence. And the numbers back it up. A little more backspin, a little more launch, and a little straighter.
And there's guys out there that are just going, listen, I hit most fairways. I just want to hit it further. Good. Good then, Rogue Sub-Zero is great for you.
Exactly.
It's a great driver for you.
They would come in, and that blue square there, that's the fitting you're getting.
Yep, that's
whatever your
exactly.
numbers are. Obviously, you dial back the ball speed, we change those numbers.
Yep.
But you're going to go for that type of a fit, and then someone comes in with kind of my idea in mind to hit it straighter. You go with kind of that red line there, and that's what you should be coming in for.
Nice balance of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, good. So I hope this has illustrated some of our thought process, and we're trying to fit drivers in here. We really are driven by the desire and kind of request of the customer as to what they want, whether it's accuracy, whether it's distance, or a nice blend of both. I think this is kind of showing you how we can kind of lead you in any direction you want to go. And obviously the key is being fitted to the right head and shaft, get the right loft, so that all those numbers work together.
100% good fit.
Yeah, really good. Thanks for watching, guys.